right. Well, welcome to the Horror Hour, place we discuss, we debate, we disagree on all things horror. And well, I'm Utaka, but really, I'm just excited because I love Terrifier and the franchise, and I'm really excited to have back on the channel Elliott Fullam from Terrifier. How are you? Well, Terrifier 2 and
Hi.
3.
Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks for having me.
So, well, first off, let's kind of start off with how Terrifier 3 is kind of just killing it critically and commercially. How's that been?
It's been surreal. I still haven't been able to process the success of Terrifier 2, and now Terrifier 3 has just exceeded the expectations. I mean, of course, already had high expectations. I believed in the film, but it's doing insanely well. It was number one in the box office for a while, which is it's crazy.
It's so rewarding just as a fan to see indie horror really succeed.
Yes.
Just either financially, but also critically. I mean, I love it regardless, but critics have been just overwhelmingly positive for this incredibly gory flick, which I love.
Yeah, it's just it's honestly insane. Like you were saying, like it's really big and really important for an independent horror film to be doing this of all things. And I'm a huge horror fan myself, so really cool to see. And I'm honored to be a part of it.
I mean, I have to ask, with the conventions, and also I believe they've had some premieres overseas and some of the festivals. How's that been going? And seeing just the rest of the world's reaction to Terrifier.
It's pretty cool. I mean, I was only able to go to the London premiere mainly because my parents still have a job, so we couldn't be out for too long. But we went to London, and that was absolutely beautiful. The people there, everything, the reactions were really fun, really cool. And then yes, going to horror conventions. I just recently came back from the Miami HorrorCon. It was a Nightmare Weekend, GalaxyCon, and that was really fun talking to people, talking to fans, and just seeing. It's fun to go to a HorrorCon right after the movie came out. It's fun to see
Well,
people's reactions in real time. It's like the horror celebration.
yeah. Well, and I mean, have you had the chance to get to watch Terrifier? So then, have you had the chance then, like, to really get to watch and just pay attention to the audience reaction to the film?
Yeah, I think I've seen it. I think around maybe 4 or 5 times.
Love
Uh,
that.
Two of the times were in my own theater, my hometown theater, and that was really cool to see because it was like I grew up watching movies there, same as my dad grew up going to that theater to watch any movie. It could be anything. So a lot of memories were made there, and to see it like packed to the brim of
That's
people
so
and to see
cool.
their reactions, it was like no other. Definitely a wonderful experience.
That is just so awesome to hear. And just, oh my God, that's great for you, man. That's so
Thanks.
cool.
Yeah, one of the last ones too. I went with my grandparents, so
I
it was
saw
like,
that and I was just like, because I mean, I know the film. I'm like, oh man, I'm thinking, could my grandparents stand a film like this? Probably. I don't think they have the stomach for it, but I was like, that's real. I was like, that's badass.
yes, I do have badass parents and grand.
How has it been then going to all the conventions and just juggling all of that? Because I know there's a bunch out there that you guys have been going to.
Yeah, that and on top, I just recently did a tour for my music, so a lot of traveling. But like I said earlier, it's just like a horror party. I love interacting with people, talking to people, not only about Terrifier, but horror films in general. And to walk around the vendor space and see, Art the Clown, like drawings and art and like sculptures and masks, so everything. Art is everywhere. You can't escape them at a HorrorCon. And the cosplayers, all that commitment right there. So many cool cosplays I've seen of not only Art the Clown, but of also Sienna and the Pale Girl. Like it's wild. It is so cool.
I mean, we all say, well, I know I say it probably, but it's not uncommon now to hear when we talk Terrifier and Art the Clown that it's icon status that this is a modern day slasher that is really just taking over in every sense, like pop culture, everything.
Yeah.
I know.
There's even a pop figure. I mean, go into Hot Topic or Spencer's or Spirit of Halloween, you'll see Art the Clown. And like I said way earlier, I won't be able to process it. I still haven't. I mean, just this on Art the Clown Funko Pop, we got every single variant. We bought every single one we
Those
could.
all I had to go to eBay. Those all sold out quick.
Yes, yes. I got lucky. I did promo for Hot Topic, so they sent me a free uh one of the Hot Topic exclusive, and I know that sold out like right away.
Is it the one where he's sitting on the chair with the newspaper?
Yep. Yeah.
Yes. That's awesome.
I love that one.
Um, speaking of just horror, then, being a fan, what's been some of your favorite horror films this past year? Now that we're kind of coming to a close.
You glitched a little bit during the
Oh,
question.
sorry.
I kind of pieced together my favorite horror film this year.
But like, what are some of your favorite horror films that you've seen this past year, as
Ooh,
we're coming to a close?
all right. I've seen a few. I mean, I've been like really busy, but the whenever I do get the time to sit down and watch, I do make sure I look into some good films. So The Late Night with the Devil was one of my
Hmm.
favorite ones of the year. Long Legs was awesome. I just wish there was more Nicolas Cage. I loved that character. It was
He
a
he
crazy
like
film.
really dove into that role, which I was just like, I did not like one visually that was so creepy, but that performance, I was just like,
When he's like
okay.
screaming in the car and stuff. It's
Yes.
nuts. So I think those two are my favorites. I'm not quite sure if Lisa Frankenstein came out this year. Like, it's not really a horror film, but it's more of like a fun, almost kind of coming of age with a little bit of horror, love to
Hmm.
it. I watched that with my girlfriend. We went out on a date, and that quickly became one of our favorite films together. So I would say those three. Those three are my three favorites right now. I do want to watch. What is it? Substance, I think it's called.
It's
Is
so
that?
good. It
I
is.
can't get no spoilers. I can't get no
I'm just.
spoilers.
It's. I hope it continues because people are talking awards conversation, and
Ooh.
I personally, because horror is often looked down upon.
Mm.
Anytime I hear people talk awards conversations around a horror film, it makes me excited. But I have to say, very impressive movie, just because I did not see that coming, and I was like, bravo. So I love that.
Yeah, horror is really making a big like full on like punching. Like they're just punching right through. I mean, The Smile 2 is doing really well right now. Of course, Terrifier 3. I've heard about The Substance. I'm excited. I'm excited about it.
It's, I mean, horror's always been around, but man, it feels like this year we're getting a lot of wins,
Yeah.
but and of all different ranges, because yes, I believe Lisa Frankenstein was this year too. And my God, just visually, that was just so, oh my God, it was so camp for me. And I love Catherine Newton. I thought she did a
Yeah.
great job.
Thank
Um,
God.
oh, well, speaking of your music, because yeah, you've been like, Jesus, I didn't realize you were touring as well. How are you juggling all of this schedule wise? That's crazy.
I kind of just go with the flow, I guess. You know, if I need to be somewhere, if I need to be doing something, I'll do it. I mean, it's a lot of hard work. And I owe a lot of credit to my parents because they have like a job where they're able to be a little bit more flexible with like time, like they work at home on their computer.
Hmm.
Uh, but I mean, yeah, it was a 3-day tour. And I was opening up for two awesome bands, the Gins and Olive Vox. They were both really sweet people and fantastic performances. And then right after that, like we had one day to just relax at home, and then the next morning we were flying to Miami. Uh, yeah, craziness, craziness. But it's fun. I think it's fun as someone that loves art and just loves creating. It's a very fulfilling life when you can do horror conventions, talk to people about the horror film that you filmed, Then the next thing you know, you're releasing an album, and then the next thing you know, you're going on tour. They're doing more horror conventions, then going to London for a premiere. A lot of traveling and a lot of beautiful experiences. And I mean, I couldn't have asked to do it with better people. I mean, the whole Terrifier cast and crew, they've become like legit family. So it's wonderful.
I mean, well, I think one of the great things that have just watching this series has seen everybody's progression throughout. And in a sense, growing up, because I mean, Jonathan from two is way different than the Jonathan we see in three. In fact, you get more of like an emotional arc. And I really love three in terms of we get to see kind of the fallout in a sense from the traumatic experiences that you all experienced in two, and how does one move on and how does one cope?
Yeah, that's a very great point. I think uh on all levels for Terrifier 3, the performances, I felt better. I felt better about my performance in Terrifier 3 than I did Terrifier 2. Uh but I'm not saying I didn't like it. I thought I did great in Terrifier 2, but like watching Terrifier, like, I'm proud. I'm actually proud of myself. And Lauren kills it. Like those scenes where she has the tears going down. Oh my God. Everybody in Terrifier 3 absolutely knocked it out of the park. And like you were mentioning, the character arc with Jonathan, Damien with his writing kills.
Hmm.
And I like the whole general character arc between both Sienna and Jonathan, because like Sienna in Terrifier 2 doesn't believe Jonathan. Oh no, Art's not real.
Hmm.
No, he is. He's out there. And then it kind of is like a switch in
It
Terrifier 3.
is.
Because I'm like trying to like get it, trying to move on. Uh that was years ago. I'm in college now. I'm just trying to be a normal kid. And Sienna's like, no, no, he's back, and I don't believe her. But yeah, I do like the drama of it.
Well, I mean the one scene too that it was kind of it's crazy emotional scene, honestly. Well, there two scenes, honestly. There was the one, I guess, in the cafeteria to
Yeah,
where like that was explosive.
yeah,
And then, of course, we also had, I believe you all were in a church. It was just you and, like, again, yes, you guys got to do so much more. And it was just really cool, just as a fan of the series, but just to be able to get to see you guys get to show more of your range.
yeah. Thanks to Damien, with once again the incredible writing, and Lauren for working with me. Like there was uh like before I think that chapel scene, uh we went on a Zoom call and we acted out the scenes, and we made sure we get the ball rolling on that. And Lauren is of course the best on-screen sis I could have ever asked for. But also in that scene in the chapel, there's a little bit of improv between just like two lines when Sienna calls me boy genius, and I said, at least I'm fucking trying. Like those, like that was really fun when we worked. We did a little bit like before. We're like preparing, like maybe we should do some improv, and we were just playing around. And then Damien liked it, so he kept it in.
I love that. Being on set, I'm curious, did you get to actually, I don't know if it's fun. Well, I don't know. As an audience, it was fun, but did you get to actually see any of the on-screen demises kind of just, up close and personal?
I don't think I did. I don't. I
Oh,
did. No, I would have. That would have been cool. I don't think I got to see any of the kills, even in Terrifier 2, like live and in person, like to watch them do it. Uh, yeah, I don't think I have. I don't think I've seen a kill live. That's crazy. That's crazy to think about. I think the most violent scene I remember filming was when I shot Art the Clown, and that was in Terrifier 2. But like
that's such a fun scene
that is
too.
yeah. Oh yeah, that was fun. But I've heard stories, and I know there's I think the reason I'm trying to, it's all coming back to me now. I think part of the reason is like you don't want to like crowd the space when they're doing all these practical
Oh,
effects
sure.
stuff, and people trying to be in the moment. I don't want to be like standing there with my dad, like in the corner. You know, I would let them do their thing. Uh, and I know some of those scenes, or a lot of the practical effects, like the kills, it takes like multiple days of shooting, especially the bedroom scene in Terrifier 2. I knew that took a while. So
Could
uh,
imagine.
I mean, credit to them, credit to all of them on that.
Well, I mean, kudos to the entire makeup and effects team of the Terrifier franchise because I really feel that setting the bar for when people think of practical effects in horror, that should be what they look towards because it's really bringing it back to that because while I love horror and I know sometimes we do see CG and all that, I I really appreciate good practical effects. And since we don't get it as often as I would personally like, this has just been it's just been a marvel to witness.
Yeah, I've always been a huge fan of practical effects opposed to, CGI, and it's fun to act with it too. When you actually see Art the Clown in his whole element, and he actually has blood on him, and I've heard it's just easier to act. I mean, it's not like the Twilight, behind the scenes when
Hmm.
Jacob is wearing a giant green outfit and like I can't imagine. I mean, I can't imagine trying to act with that and pretending like he's an actual wolf. But like with Terrifier and Alien Romulus too. I didn't get to see that one yet. I do want to see that one. I've missed it. But I've seen the clips of, the giant aliens and the fact that they use practical effects. It is so cool and it definitely translates really well on screen.
It's well, again, then I won't spoil anything. It is. It's I saw it in theaters and it was definitely it took me back because Alien was the first horror film I ever saw. So getting to see Romulus and to see it in all its glory, I was just it really took me back and yeah, great job. So
Hell yeah. Hell yeah to practical effects, I
I
guess.
like we need more of it. Like
We do. Yeah, we do. I'm it's just fun. It's just fun.
well, speaking of Terrifier franchise and nobody knows what's next. I am curious, what do you hope's next for the franchise?
Uh, I hope I mean, I have full on. I actually, honestly, have no idea what's gonna happen. Or Damien keeps me completely in the dark about this stuff. All I know is that it's confirmed. The Terrifier 4 is confirmed to be happening, right?
Hmm.
That didn't he say that at Fantastic Fest? I think, but
Yeah,
uh, it's I don't know. I don't know where Terrifier 4 is gonna go or what's gonna happen in terms of the story and Art the Clown. And I, of course, I can't spoil anything, right? Should I spoil? Is this a no spoiler interview?
I'll put this out after. I'll put this out after Halloween because I think I did see Damien say if people can hold from spoilers until. So I'll put this out after Halloween because yeah, we can spoil.
Okay, so I could spoil because
Yeah, because I'll hold this until then.
all right. I mean, because obviously, I mean, at the very end, you see Jonathan's skull with the glasses. I mean, and I've seen all the theories, and all I can say is that I have no idea what's gonna happen, and I have no answers.
My fingers crossed that that was some nasty fake out because I can tell you in the theater, I was like, this fucking did not just happen. I was like, what? I go,
Yeah,
and off screen, I go, I understood for emotional impact and everything, but I was legit like, ooh, I think I might be pissed right now because it's like you can't do that. But sure, we got one hell of a performance from Lauren in that scene. But I was just like, oh, I was mad for her too. I was like, no, I was like, we did not just get all of this. I was like, I was like, okay, all right. I see you, Damien. I hope you're toying with us, but if not, that hit me. I was just like, oh.
right in the chest. That twist, and I feel even more bad for like the mom in that scene too. The Aunt Jess, because she dies.
Before she even
That was the niece. That
oh my God. That whole scene was I don't even know how to explain because there was so much going on in terms of like visually. Again, I love practical effects where we get to go with a lot of this, but where like I was before I could even like feel like, oh my God, and, like, and bam, I was like, oh Jesus, because that's probably, I think, the most foul death, I think, in the series to me, because it was just grotesque.
Ooh,
But
throw up. Yeah.
yes. And I was like, that's got to be the scene where people are like, okay, they're getting sick because I love when I shouldn't say I love, but I think it's great when a horror film can have that just free press of people actually unfortunately fainting or getting sick.
Oh,
But I'm like, that just means you really had a great time, I guess. But I was like, that scene, it's got to be that. That's one of the scenes. I was like, ooh, because that was even I had to be like, ooh, ooh. And I feel desensitized at most, but I was just like, oh, okay. And the sounds.
yeah, the sound design. Oh my God, the sound design of Terrifier is insanely good. But that's one thing I love about the Terrifier films is that people could be laughing, you know, people could be smiling and laughing, people could be scared, horrified, or just completely grossed out. It's like a whole range of emotions that you feel through the roller coaster of emotions watching a Terrifier film.
I like well, Terrifier 2, I think like the death that killed me the most was the mom because she was
Yeah,
just such a great character. And so that's why when this happened in Terrifier 3, I was like, you can't do that. No, 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 no. I was like, Sienna can't lose that. No. But also me as an audience member, I was just like, man. But who knows? Like I like, I mean, Damien, well, as soon as I think I saw the box office success as well, I was like, yeah, they're having a fourth. I was like, that's gotta be like, and then of course it was confirmed, which makes me happy. And I who knows where it goes, but I'm just also again a fourth in an independent horror franchise that is just people are like it feels like it's already to me like when I see the projections, I'm like, it's beaten out so many horror films this year, so many, and that's just cool for an indie project to really just put its stamp like.
yeah. It's been giving me a existential crisis. I don't know what's real, what's not anymore.
Well, I mean, you should be incredibly proud of yourself of this film because again, like you really you all leveled up. It was just all around. I'm like, and of course now I can say I have a new Christmas classic, which I never thought I would say about a Terrifier film, but I will be watching this again. I hope they do special screenings during Christmas because I would go. But yes,
I,
I
that's gonna be on my rotation. It's gonna be Charlie Brown and Terrifier. Perfect.
I mean, you need to have something good and wholesome, and then it doesn't. If you're a horror lover, we need some more Christmas horror. So I think this is one I mean I don't know if I can watch it with the family. I wish I could, but they're not horror lovers like I am. So I don't know if I can just be like, hey guys, I gotta really get Santa's in it. It's great, but no, I don't know
Fuzzy
if I could pull that off.
presents. Fun. Well, it's a great. I know for a fact we're definitely putting it on at our
That's awesome.
buying it. There's no. I mean, we're all horror fans. So my girlfriend and both my parents, huge horror fans. They raised me on horror. Uh, and even if we're at our grandparents, we're gonna try and put it on. Like you can't. There's no way. Maybe some of my cousins could sit out the watch, but
Well,
definitely fun times. Fun Christmases ahead.
I actually it hasn't arrived yet, but I did end up getting like the art Christmas sweater from Spencer's. I
Oh,
was like, I've got to get that. I'll go to an ugly Christmas party or ugly sweater Christmas party with that.
is that the one with the tinsel?
Yes.
Oh my God, I
I
love those.
I was hoping it would arrive so I could wear it for the speaking with you all today because I did just speak with Samantha just literally
Oh,
not too long
nice.
ago as well. And yeah, I was hoping I could have had it by
Oh man, I would have been sick. I would have been sick.
then. But before I go, I just want to what's next for you? I mean, again, your music, do you have another tour coming up or
No, I don't have another tour scheduled yet, but definitely be on the lookout because I want to play as many shows as possible. I have a new single that we're probably gonna like get all set up to release uh for some point like by the end of this month. I want to get a new song out. And I do want to, I'm trying to work on maybe second projects in terms of music, but I was also in a horror film, Pitchfork Retreat, which is like an anthology horror film. I think they're still looking to release it. I think it might be still in post production. I know they were doing like they showed some of the anthology shorts at like film fest, like festivals and stuff. So I'm excited. I'm excited.
that's exciting.
But I'm more so just excited to relax for a little bit because we've been traveling all over the place. But we do have another horror con coming up in a month. It's Pennsylvania, Oaks, Pennsylvania horror Monster Mania.
That's
And
a huge one,
yeah,
yeah.
it's gonna be a fun one. That was the first con I ever did, and I actually met my girlfriend at that. Uh,
Yeah.
and Catherine Newton's gonna be there, so I get to nerd out with her about
That's
Lisa
awesome.
Frankenstein.
Yes.
Exciting. But other than that, yeah, I'll just be on social media. I'll just be doing my auditions, working on my music.
I I thought that was one that, by the way, I do have to call that out because that was the coolest thing. Ice-T, like watching that, I was
Oh
like, that's so cool.
yeah, that he's the coolest. I actually interviewed him years ago, and that was one of my favorite interviews to do. It was
Which
him
is
and Ernie C from Body Count.
which is incredible. I mean, again, for people like you were interviewing some of the greats. Like I get nervous still to this day talking with anybody. Like I had to psych myself up for like getting on for this one and the one before. Like, so to see you at such an age be able to, I'm like, that's incredible. That is crazy.
It was nuts. Yeah, and I feel you with the anxiety and nervousness. I was nervous right before this interview. I get nervous all the time. But I've just come to realize like half the time when I get nervous, it just ends up all right anyways. I was just anxious for no reason. I mean, you're a fantastic interviewer.
Oh,
So, I mean, yeah, it's always a good time. It feels like a genuine fun conversation. So, there's no reason to be nervous. You're awesome.
well, thanks. Well, look, man, I just want to again thank you so much for taking time out of your day and
Of course.
seriously kudos on the success of this film and just all your endeavors, man. Like, I can't wait to see what you do next. Like, that's so awesome.
Thank you so much, man. I really do appreciate that. And thank you for taking the time out of your day to do this interview. Fun times. Good times.
Yes. And with that, then to those watching or listening, I'll say goodbye.